Political great expert extraordinaire, Ed Rollins, who's in the House right now to react to this latest development on the campaign trail. Hillary Clinton trying to walk back these remarks, knowing that it caused an uproar.
I don't think she can walk it back. I mean, I think it's what she meant. It was a scripted remark. Deplorable is a terrible term to use for about any Americans, and she's very quick to throw out the title that you're a racist or you're deplorable or you're un-American if you're not for her. And the people that she's with, she was here for the Barbara Streisand event at the Fashion Week, all the beautiful people raising $6 million. She has spent the last several months in the Hamptons and all the places where the rich all go doing these enormous fundraisers. And Trump's out there with real people, and the real people are not very happy about what's going on in this country. And the other part of that is her premise that the government is not doing enough for these people. Most of these people don't want government. They want a job, and that's what Trump is advocating, and they advocate to making America great again. Ronald Reagan did that in 1980 and did. Her husband used that same term in her campaign. Hillary will make America great again. Obviously, she didn't get elected. I think it's a goal. I think it's very important, and I think that her mindset. She's struggling in her campaign. People don't think she's honest, and I think to a certain extent she looks very tired and very confused at this point in time.
Again, you point out this was a scripted speech. It was
Absolutely
not an off-the-cuff remark, and this is something that has drawn lots of fire from a number of different circles. But do you think the apology will gain any traction? Mitt Romney had a tough time in his race when he made controversial remarks.
Absolutely. Well, he said 47% of the people are on some sort of a government welfare type program, including military and all the rest of it, which was an absurd statement, and he paid for it. I think she will pay for this. I would expect this to be in an ad somewhere. I think that those people out there who are basically for Trump, and there's more and more of them every day, as we see by the polls, I think they're going to take great relish in being called the deplorables. Deplorable compared to who? Again, to the Barbara Streisand and the fashion crowd, maybe we're all deplorable, but that's not what America's about. America's about bringing people together.
Well, interesting to note, former President Bill Clinton going after Donald Trump's Make America Great slogan again, suggesting that the phrase may have racist undertones. Listen.
That message where I'll give you America great again is, if you're a white Southerner, you know exactly what it means, don't you? What it means is, I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago, and I'll move you back up on the social totem pole and other people down.
But in his political past, Mr. Clinton has used the catchphrase himself. Watch this.
I believe that together we can make America great again. To secure a better future for your children and your grandchildren, and to make America great again.
I want to attack these problems and make America great again.
It's time for another comeback. Time to make America great again.
Well, there you go. Okay, so
well,
he said it. He says Donald Trump, when he uses it, has racist undertones.
Well, he also cast an aspersion on a very significant part of America. The southern part of America, the southern states have great pride in what they have done. They're great industrialists.
And he's supposed to be a southerner.
And he's supposed to be a southerner, and obviously that's where well, of course, he now lives in New York and elsewhere. But at the end of the day, that's an extraordinary part of this country. They have great universities, great young people, and they've been a great industrial center. So I think they're really, as I say, they're struggling, and by struggling, they're striking out. And we don't need to be divided in this country. We need to be bringing this country together in a very polarized electorate.
But he has to know that he's been on the record saying this from his political past. Why go there?
I can't figure out what Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton does. It's sometimes hard enough to figure out what my candidate's doing, Donald Trump. So I'll bear slight responsibility for them. I have a hard enough time sometimes. You remember what I said, and obviously would like to get some of my words back in the course of a 50-year career, but you don't get to do that. And I think to a certain extent it's a very polarizing, very close election.
Well, and speaking of that, the races are tightening up in some of the key battleground states. For example, in Florida, we've got Clinton at 47 and Trump at 47, virtual tie there. Pennsylvania, North Carolina is also tightening up.
The reality is that we've driven too much by polls, and I think there's certain advantages that she has in the sense of she's got a better organization on the ground today. If the election were held today, she'd probably squeak it out, but there's a long ways to go here, and this thing has changed dramatically. I think Americans today want change. He's the candidate of change. If you get her reelected, it's 4 more years of Obama, or even more years of Bill Clinton policies.
But do you think that the tightening up of the race is because people tend to focus more on the election after Labor Day, or is it because Trump has been running a more disciplined campaign?
Well, he's certainly doing that. He's certainly running a much more disciplined campaign in the last couple of weeks. This change in his leadership has been very, very important, and I think to a certain extent he's on message. He's on a teleprompter today. He's saying what he wants to say, but at the same time it's a scripted message, which is important. He's talking about substantive issues, and again, I go back to the point, he's not spending his time running around with the rich fat cats in the Hamptons and elsewhere, I mean, in Beverly Hills. He's out there talking to real people every day.
And you're happy. Fundraising is up too, I hear.
Fundraising is up.
There you go.
So it'll be a very, very interesting race before it's all said and said.
Indeed. Great Ed Rollins. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.